Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendes. Hope you guys are all well on your Sunday morning. On today's show, we'll be looking back then at yesterday's 1-1 draw with Stockport County at the Valley. Joining me to do that, first up, top right, Nathan Muller. How you doing, Nate?
Yeah, mate, living the dream. Positive, consider it was a draw, but yeah, nice to see you change your scenery, mate, for the pod.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of explaining to do, which I'll do in a minute. Also joining us, bottom of the screen, in his vomit yellow away shirt is Tom Wallin. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm all right at the moment. Yeah, little bit hungover, but I'm all right.
I hear you went out to celebrate the draw quite ferociously last night.
A 1-1 draw against Stockport is all I need to get me on the beers. So, yeah, it was tough morning.
Lovely stuff. So on today's show, then, as I said, we'll look back at the game with Stockport. We'll hear the goals shortly. We'll hear, of course, from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones, and we'll also hear from the goalscorer, Rarmani Edmonds-Green, who I caught up with yesterday. I said I've got some explaining to do. This might be a slightly different show in that I'm looking after my daughter at the same time as doing it, and so you might hear her wandering around in the background, which is why we're downstairs. But yeah, she's a massive Charlton fan, and she insists that the show goes on. So before we hear the goals from yesterday, I want to say good morning to everyone who's joining us in the chat. W. Can is the first one in there. Talk about Terry Taylor. We're certainly going to talk about him when the show goes on. Sam's in there. Gary, Bernie, Robbie, all hell let loose is in there. Mike Salmon's in there, of course. Luke's in there as well. Let us know your thoughts on yesterday's 1-1 draw with Stockport County. Who you thought stood out for us? What you made of the overall performance? How frustrated you were that we didn't perhaps take the 3 points when really I'd suggest the display deserved all 3 points. Before we hear the goals then, Nath, I mean, how do you sum up yesterday? I mean, we were a goal down relatively early, a penalty, and I think everyone involved won't particularly want to look back at that moment. But, I mean, overall, the fact it took us over an hour to score, it was a travesty yesterday.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think when they scored their goal, it just sort of took me back to sort of last season where we were just giving away cheap goals, and it was a silly goal. But I mean, overall, even though we drew the game and we created enough chances to win about 4 or 5, it was frustrating. But I think everyone was positive because of how we played. I think this season there have been games where we've been defensively solid, but we looked quite sort of blunt in attack, if that's the right word. And I thought yesterday we found a good balance in terms of creating chances through set plays, which I'm sure we'll come on to, and also transitions and keeping the ball against it. Let's have it right. I know it's only Stockport County, but they're up there on merit, and they've been together for a long time. So I think we had a good balance yesterday, created a lot of chances, and it was just that final bit of detail, that bit of composure. On another day, we would win that comfortably 3 or 4-1. So bit disappointed with the lapse in concentration, but overall I think we can be satisfied, and I think it bodes us well for the future to see the last 2 games have been very good, very different performances, but very good positive performances at the same time.
Yeah, certainly. The word different was the one I think we're going to highlight throughout the rest of the show, because something clicked yesterday which hadn't done throughout the rest of the season so far, which I hope is very encouraging. Right, let's have a listen back to the goals from Charlton TV. Steve Brown was alongside Terry Smith.
He'll send the ball long, and his runners into the penalty area, and one of those is Powell, and he collides with... Oh, and the referee's given a penalty. Powell jumped in at the ball, collided with Mannion. The referee didn't seem to do anything, and he must have taken advice from the assistant. As the ball's bounced beyond the Charlton defence, Gillespie caught on the hop a little bit.
Yeah, you have to say he's made no contact with the ball, though, Tel.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's anywhere, can I say if that's anywhere else on the pitch?
It's a foul. Yeah,
it's a free kick. Yeah,
I need to see it again. I think that you're right. There was no contact made, but who initiated the contact? I suppose is the question. Whether
well, you've got the centre forward going through, and the criticism's not going to come from the penalty decision for me. The criticism comes you've let 2 centre halves have let a ball. One's fighting a player, not assessing the flight of the ball. The other one's cover is awful. Then you've got a left back allowing a player on his outside to get on his inside shoulder, which is criminal. So there's a lot of stuff that could have been dealt with a long time before that ball goes through to Mannion, and he's on
running
the back
through to Mannion there. I mean, Mannion as a keeper comes out, certainly connects with Powell while he was in the air, but who initiates the contact there? I think if you're Stockport, you say there's a penalty all day long.
I think it is a penalty.
I can see what. Look, I'm in the camp where I can see where the decisions come from. I still think it's a tad harsh, but I can see why.
If the keeper has to make contact with the ball first for that not to be a penalty, and he doesn't, the striker makes contact first, and then Mannion takes him out. He could tap that in the back of the net if there's no contact. So it's just really poor defensively from the two centre-halves, and I think Edwards could have done more to block Powell coming in on his blind side. So a catastrophe, actually, that's led to the penalty to Stockport.
Well, it's a penalty to Stockport in front of the covered end. It looks like it's Barry who's going to take it. Steps forward now, strikes it to the right side of Mannion, who goes the wrong way, and Stockport have the lead here. Just over the bar, in fact, as the corner comes in. It's a low one. Gordon, a little flick. Campbell's there, saved, and then finished by Edmonds-Green. The Addicts back on level terms. Slightly scuffed opportunity. Charlton won't care. The low works corner into the centre. A little flick on in the 6-yard box. I think it was Therese Campbell who got the flick on, got the shot away after the flick on, and Edmonds-Green was on hand after the save from an eye to bring the score back to 1-0.
Yep, game on. I tell you what, I said about that long swinging back post corner wasn't working, but we've had other inventive moves today, particularly into the near post. It's a wonderful flick round the corner. Campbell gets his shot away. Adai makes another good save. This time the rebound falls very kindly into the path of Edmonds-Green, and he taps in. We have a game on.
There you go, that's the goals from Charlton TV of yesterday's 1-1 draw with Stockport. Tom, I mean, there are so many talking points out of yesterday's game. The penalty decision being one, which has been a conversation in the chat I've seen already. But just on the overall performance, I mean, obviously we only heard the goals there, but every single person who walked into the press room after the game all announced their arrival back into the press room with the same comment. How on earth did we not win that game?
I said the same. As we were leaving. And I think I said the same in our WhatsApp chat, didn't I? As it ticked into extra time, I said, I can't believe we're not going to win this game. But best performance of the season by far. The first 20 minutes, we blew them away, I thought. Obviously fell behind. And then I said to the guy that sits next to me, I said, we need to equalise quickly. And if we do, we'll go on to win this game. And I was so convinced of that. And I saw someone in the chat just say the first goal is so crucial in these games. And if we hadn't conceded that stupid penalty, I think, we would have won that game absolutely comfortably. But it took us so long to get back into it. But even then, we had chances. As you said in the sort of intro, everything just clicked yesterday. The way we moved the ball, the way we attacked, the way people moved off the ball, everything going forward just looked absolutely excellent. And I said on Thursday, to sort of back up what I'd said after Birmingham, we need to maintain that level of performance of the Birmingham game. And if we do, we'll be fine. And we did that again yesterday. And okay, we didn't win the game yesterday, but again, that level of performance was there. And as I said, that's got to be the level now. If we put that performance in, week out, we'll get promoted out of this league. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Because yesterday, the reason we didn't win was bad luck. That was all it came down to, really. And a good goalkeeping performance and a couple of other bits and pieces. But we play like that every week, we'll be absolutely fine. The difficulty is, particularly in a week like this, where we go away to Barnsley and then obviously we've got a tough home game, can we maintain that with the injuries? Can we keep that standard up? But if we can, we'll be fine, because I thought we were brilliant yesterday to a man. I can't, maybe Gillespie, but there was maybe the only bad performance in a side, and even the subs that came on. It was just, so much more improved. And I was gutted to draw that game yesterday because the performance deserved a win. When that corner flashed across the face of goal from Berry in the closing stages, or when Leaburn fired across, I was like in mourning. It's like, I cannot believe that we are not going to win this game, because we are having so many chances. And I mean, it was when we were a goal down, Nathan, in the first half. I'm always very wary of, like, I find myself over the years, I'll be saying, something's going well in this game, but we're losing, and people really jump on me if I ever point out when something's going well. So after about half an hour, I was getting ready to tweet, like, Charlton are actually playing quite well here. They're progressing through the thirds really well, and I thought, well, I'm going to say it because it's true, but I bet I'm going to get some comeback. And I didn't get any yesterday, because most people realise that actually the passages of the play, the way we were passing the ball
as I said, almost from back to front through the thirds. I'm convinced we haven't seen that at all this season before yesterday.
No, yeah, I agree, mate. And I was literally about to say, like, I think yesterday was the first time in a long, long time where when we go 1-0 down, I still feel confident scoring 2. It's very rare in recent seasons that we go 1-0 down and I still think we'll win this game. And I think the question is when was we going to get that equaliser and if we had enough time to get that winner? Because I think if we think about if we take a step back and look at it as a whole, like you said, we played very well on the ball, things that we were like missing so far this season. But in addition to that, we lost Kane Ramsey, which is an outlet, which is early, and more or less put sort of a right-sided centre-half out there in Reg, who's a lot better on the ball than our other centre-halves. We've got to admit that. So I think he done that. We've then had to bring Miles on with 15 minutes into the second half. Very rusty. We've got to be patient with him because he's just had a year out. Terry Taylor ain't played in a long time. And if you add all that together and then look at the performance that we still had, and it can be better, I think it was brilliant. I think that the key was in the second half especially is the way we were passing through the first, as you say, was literally because we had an overload in there and we started to use it. Whereas the first half, we didn't use it well enough for me. We weren't picking up the ball in the right areas. People weren't coming in the right areas. TC in the second half was finding space on that, in the channels and becoming on a 1v1, which split them up. Jay Mingy, who's bombing on as a right-sided centre-half, was being pushed further back. And I just think we were just a lot more fluent, as you said. And if you put that into perspective with Terry Taylor, whose first game in ages, he's only going to get fitter and stronger, hopefully. Miles is only going to get fitter and stronger, hopefully. And hopefully Kane's injury isn't too bad. But yeah, I think it's just so many positives from yesterday. And it was, I'm not going to go to say it was a complete performance because we didn't win and we didn't have a clean sheet. But in comparison to the rest of this year, it's been our most complete performance so far, in my opinion. Birmingham was a completely different game and a different test. But Stockport were a good side, and they didn't really do much. Without that penalty, I got a bit nervous when Olafi came on, but he didn't do much after that either. So yeah, really, really pleased with the performance. Just gutted that we didn't have that final detail in the final third.
Yeah, we've been asking that question all season, haven't we, about winning that different type of game? So we've spoken about the Bolton game, the Birmingham game, how we could win a game where we're more out of possession, but they play into our hands because we press so aggressively. But it was just that different type of performance that was so encouraging yesterday. And we'll hear Nathan's interview after. He's talking about how the side has had to evolve, and we've been waiting for that to happen. And I think that did happen yesterday. And that's one of those, you got to hope it's not a one-off or anything like that. I mean, James is asking where are the goals going to come from. I mean, Miles Leaburn's not going to miss those sort of chances every week. He's going to score goals. He's going to score goals if he gets that opportunity. Don't forget he's got a decent goal record so far. I don't think we got Godden into the game much yesterday. Maybe that's one thing we could say, that if he got a chance, you'd expect him to take one, but we didn't really get him into the game. I mean, look, if we go through the timeline, then obviously we did go a goal down. You would be shocked and appalled to hear that on commentary Terry thought it might not have been a penalty, but and Nathan Jones didn't think it should have been a penalty as well. When you'll hear his interview, but I mean, Luke says, "Am I the only one who thought it was a blatant penalty? The defender nudged him in the back, and then he gets clattered by the keeper." John thought his initial reaction was it was a penalty and sloppy defending as well. Alex thought it was a Stonewall penalty. On seeing the replay, and Spamfish says Steve Brown is right 99% of the time, and I mean, even Gavin saying it's a penalty as well. Gavin Carter, so there's a widening gap between the management and the board there. That's the journalist way of putting that, but he's just saying it honestly. It looked like a penalty to me, Tom, on the replay. What did you think of it?
When I first saw it, I didn't. I thought no, and then the video went round our chat and I saw it and I went, oh yeah, that is. And it's, at first I was annoyed because I didn't think it was one, but then when you look at it back and when you think about it, actually what I was most annoyed about, and you heard it in the commentary there, was the defending for it was poor. And again, talking about sort of who I sit next to, and we were chatting before the game, and when the lineup came out, and we said Jones is going to be a big miss because obviously he's been I think we would all say, well, Ramsey going forward, but in terms of defensive solidity, say Jones has been our best player so far this season. And Gillespie had done well, hadn't he, in that 3 at the start of the season, and we were quite impressed with him. But think Terry Taylor loses the man first of all. Gillespie sort of tries to maybe push him in the back, but neither of them really try and attack the ball. And then I think somebody put in our chat, didn't they, that Mannion sort of doing that starfish jump to block a shot, but there isn't a shot. The guy pokes it round him, and as a result, he just clatters him. So I think, as Nath said, if that's the other end and it's us, you want a penalty for it. So I totally understand why it was given, and it probably was a penalty. But you just come back to the defending, really. That defending let us down, and I know we had enough chances to win the game 4 times over. So it's not just that, but it was frustrating because the first goal in our game so far this season has been so important. So even though we battered them and we dominated, when you go a goal down, you've then obviously got to score 2 to win the game, and we couldn't do that. Whereas I think if we don't concede that, we probably win that game quite comfortably. So that was where the frustration was, because apart from that, I think, as you said, Lou, we didn't look like conceding. They didn't really create a lot of chances. So, yeah, it's just a disappointing start to the game, and a game where we've been so good up until that point as well, and it just came out of nowhere, and they get themselves in front, and then suddenly it's a different game because we've got to get ourselves back in. So, yeah, we sort of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit, really. But in terms of whether it was a penalty or not, I think it was, yeah, having seen it back, it was.
Do we concede that goal if Lloyd Jones is playing, Nathan?
It's a bit of if like hindsight a little bit, but in my opinion, I think probably not, because you know how aggressive Lloyd is in terms of winning the ball. Tom just touched on it there. I just don't think we looked like we wanted to have more of a wrestling match than more than trying to win a ball. And to be fair, like Tom also just said, Gillespie's looked okay in a 3, but in my opinion, I don't feel comfortable in a 2. I think he's better when he's probably our better technical ball playing defender out of Gillespie, Jones, and Mitchell, and he can understand why he plays on the left of the 3. But as a 2, I don't know. There's just something there I don't feel comfortable with. I might be being harsh, I don't know, but that's just my opinion of it. But I just thought, yeah, and I think if you look at it yesterday, that was their best chance, and they took advantage of it. And the penalty, like, it was weird because I don't know, has the referee given it because of Mannion or because of Gillespie's barged him and he's then fell into Mannion? Because if he's given it for Gillespie, then I suppose it's a penalty and it don't really matter. Mannion is regardless anyway, but I don't know if that's what he's given it for. But if that was the other way round, I'd be fuming if we didn't get that. But I think you could tell at times that we missed Lloyd Jones, but at the same time, this is exactly why you have a squad. We can't just rely on our best players to be fit all the way through. And obviously, if Jones is out and now Kane, well, I assume definitely out for Tuesday in Kane's case. But this is why you have a squad, and this is what you've got to deal with adversity. And it's time for people to go, right, okay, now it's my time to shine, and I want to get like Terry Taylor did. He got his chance yesterday, and in my opinion, and I think in everyone's opinion, he took it. And that's exactly what Nathan wants. So it's a time now, if Macca's going to get a lot of chances now because of Lloyd's injury, it's up to him to keep that shirt and keep Lloyd out the team. And he's, it's down to him now. It's up to him if he wants to keep that shirt. So yesterday it didn't start that great, but we've got a lot of games coming up, a lot of big games coming up. And it's his time to prove, Nathan, that he's got a place in this 11.
Yeah, Andrew's asking why Lloyd Jones was left out. So it's an injury then. He's, I think it's a calf injury. We'll hear what Nathan Jones has to say on it a little bit later. I did ask the question. Luke says Jones and Mitchell have that understanding that when one goes, the other covers round. Gillespie just watched Mitchell attack the ball and got caught out. It was a really bad goal to concede, even if you don't think it was a penalty. But I think it was a penalty. And Mark says Powell heads it, Mannion saves it, and then Momentum take each other out. But the ref wanted us to watch him and not the game, so Mark didn't think it was a penalty, so he's joining Terry there in the Charlton Live Anti-Penalty League. So many players stood out yesterday, but I think the one on everyone's lips has got to be Terry Taylor. So I said on Thursday's show that I thought actually Terry would probably be the obvious replacement for Connor Coventry because of his suspension, whilst always saying over the course of this season that we haven't seen Terry play well in a Charlton shirt before, other than maybe Cambridge, which I didn't really watch anyway, so it doesn't count. But so what I was just saying, there's been a lot of clamour for Terry to come in, based on the fact we haven't seen enough of him, and we just hope that he's going to be the answer. So I was sort of saying, urging people to be cautious. That we're putting a lot of pressure on a player who we don't know if he's going to be able to come in and turn it on. But bloody hell, he did. He was superb yesterday. Set pieces, brilliant. You know, he had one or two bad ones, but most of them were right on the button. Nearly created that chance, or he did create a chance for Anderson with a corner. It was a very good save by the keeper. But the most important thing for me was I thought he flowed the ball really well. Like, he kept us, like, to the extent that I'd say he did that better than Connor Coventry has been doing. Like, I think his passing was a bit more adventurous. It turned us forward a bit more. Tom, what did you make of it?
I thought he was absolutely excellent. Yeah, like you, I don't want to get carried away with one performance, but for somebody to come in to a game of that level, having barely played, I thought he was unbelievable. And I can't remember if I said it on Thursday's show, but I feel like the clamour for him to come back in was way over the top. But I also feel like him not having had any minutes apart from that one EFL trophy game was also over the top the other way. Like, I feel like he's deserved a few cameos and a little bit, and he probably sits somewhere in the middle. But then you see him play yesterday and you think, well, fair enough, to be honest. That clamour he certainly lived up to it, didn't he? Because, as you say, moved the ball well, was always looking for the ball. And I obviously haven't watched the game back, but I just think about how many times I saw the ball in the middle of the pitch with the midfield. And how many games have we seen that happen this season? Most of the games, it's either been down the flanks or it's been lofted over the top to Gassan. But yesterday, it went through the midfield time and time and time again. I'd love to know what the touches were, but it felt like him and Doherty, and particularly Berry in the second half as well, they were constantly on the ball, moving the ball. And if we're going to play with that box midfield, you need those players on the ball, because you haven't got the width in the same way you would if you had wingers. So I thought he was absolutely brilliant. As you say, he's known as a bit of a set piece specialist, isn't he? And I thought corners were dangerous. I can't believe we didn't score from any of them in the first half, but corners were dangerous. And obviously the goal in the second half comes from a set piece. Yeah, just an all-round brilliant performance. And again, I'm going to caveat all of that, same way I did about the performance, by saying he's got to keep that up now. If he keeps that up, there's another option in midfield, but that's the standard now, and he's got to maintain it. But he was excellent. I'm delighted for him, because he has had a tough start to his Charlton career, but now maybe we've got another option in midfield, which we needed. We've talked about that midfield depth not quite being there, and maybe it's there now.
I mean, Burnley said much improved performance. Terry Taylor's delivery is what we've been looking for all season. Why is it taking him so long to get a game? And I mean, that's always, we asked, Nathan was asked about it a few weeks ago, why Terry wasn't getting a game, and he did say he was close, but maybe he felt that because Connor Coventry's played well overall, obviously apart from set pieces, that he couldn't fit Terry into the side. But now his hand has been forced. I mean, how many times have you seen that over the years where someone's come in because of an injury or a suspension where they weren't really likely to get a chance, and they've grasped it with two hands? And he really did that yesterday. Mike Salmon says, I was really impressed with Terry Taylor. His confidence on the ball and his set pieces was spot on. All Hell Let Loose is saying, so, I mean, I put an article out. Obviously, I asked, for starters, All Hell Let Loose, I made Terry Taylor my man of the match yesterday. I don't have anything against Terry Taylor. This is not a Sam Lavelle situation where I don't know if Terry's any good before yesterday. Whereas, it's not. I've seen a player who's struggled in a side. I've said we've barely seen him. He might not be the answer that everyone's clamouring for. And he's saying, that piece I put out this morning must have stuck in my throat. Not at all. I'm delighted that he came in and had a good game. Same as Tom said earlier, the clamour for him to come in before, I was nervous it was going to be too much pressure on him, and he won't be able to be as good as we were all hoping, because we hadn't seen it before in a Charlton shirt, but we really did. Yesterday, and that goal was, as Tom mentioned, Nath, it came from a set piece. I mean, rolled in. It was a lovely set piece. We tried a couple of different ones yesterday, didn't we? In the first half, one that nearly came off. I think we sort of pulled it back into the middle and then a foul as the ball came in. But that second one is rolled into Godden, who touched it back for TC's shot, which was blocked, and then Reg put the rebound in. Very similar, you may remember, to the goal that Conor Gallagher scored against Stoke in our first home game in the Championship when we last got promoted, like a corner into the near post, touch back, and then it was levered towards goal. I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago people were saying, what on earth is James Brain doing, because he's been set piece coach for nearly 20 minutes now and we still haven't scored from one. But we're still doing something because they've started to improve.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to take time, If someone comes in as a set piece coach, we ain't going to score three in a game. But I mean, you could tell the level of ingenuity and how clever they were it caused them a lot of problems. Even the loop one at the back stick, they had what, 4 or 5 zonally marking and 3 picking up our bigger players. We lost a bit of that with obviously Jones not playing, but it just gives the defence, or it gives the other team a lot more to think about. If you can go short, or you can go in penalty spot, or go far post, near post, it's a lot harder for them to defend. It's a lot harder, and I think it's so crucial on restarts and set plays that we have to be clever with it. And we were yesterday, and the main bit of set plays is delivery. And there was one in the first half where Taylor whipped it in from that right, the touchline just in front of the Stockport dugout, which was unbelievable. Then there was another one that went in the back stick, and we couldn't quite get a contact on it, because I don't think Miles was on at that point. But we didn't really have that focal point at top at the moment. But then as soon as Miles comes on, there was that shout for the penalty, because they didn't really know how to deal with him, because they didn't know what we were going to do. And it just causes carnage in defences. And yeah, it was great to see that. Obviously, the work that they've done on the training ground has proved dividends, and we got a goal from it. It might have been second phase, but it doesn't matter. We've still made that luck and made that chance happen because of set play practice. So yeah, delighted with it. And yeah, hopefully whoever was giving the set play coach a bit of abuse after like 5 minutes can sort of leave him alone a little bit now. So yeah, it's going to come to fruition one day. You're not going to score a goal every single game, but it was great to see the different sort of routines, as it were. And it just gives you another little bit of a string to your bow, as it were. So really positive. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now to see how Nathan tries and gets Coventry and Taylor in a team, if you can play him as a double pivot, or is it going to be a 1 in 1 out? Who knows?
I think you absolutely can play them together at the base of a box midfield. So again, that's been another question we've had all season. Like, well, could you play them both if one of them wanted to come in? It's bizarre. Like I said, it's bizarre how much we were talking about Terry when he wasn't in the side, because we'd not seen anything like we had done yesterday. But now he's played like that, I'm thinking, right, box midfield, the base of it. So James was asking what a box midfield is. So it's basically a 2 and a 2. So two at the base. It's like a diamond, but twisted into a square. And so the 2 at the base could, I think, comfortably be Connor Coventry and Terry Taylor. Because currently yesterday it's Connor Coventry. It was Terry Taylor and Doherty. And I don't think again, Doherty didn't seem to have a great game yesterday. Like, Doherty seems to be better when we're probably out of possession and try and do the press. So again, I thought he was very good against Birmingham. I remember the goal he scored against Bolton. That seemed to work for him. But if we are going to be more possession based, and Terry was really moving the ball nicely yesterday. So I thought, I thought maybe that could be something they could go forward with. As Paul says, as well as the dead ball stuff, Terry Taylor was able to change direction of play on a dime. He played a delicious ball into the channel in the first half, which curled around a corner into TC's path. And I just feel like no one's really done that for us yet this season. And off one game, yeah, it is one game, but I thought he did it yesterday, and that's hugely encouraging for me. Leaburn. Tom, Miles Leaburn, first time he's played at the Valley in just under a year. What did you make of him yesterday?
Well, I forgot how big he was for a start. When he came on, I think the first person he went and hugged was Tyrese Campbell. He made Tyrese look like a child. So he's got that Anike presence, but he's also got the flexibility and the pace that obviously Anike maybe can't do. It was ridiculous the amount of times he got the ball and the ball just stuck to him. And again, he's one that I was a bit worried about because we haven't seen him for so long. He obviously had that season, and then I was like, what if he comes back and he's not quite the player he was? Think of someone like an Igor, who obviously had all those Achilles injuries and then never really recovered. And I was worried about him. And when he came on yesterday, and obviously the noise and the Leaburn chant and everything, and I was like, what if he's just not quite there? And obviously he hasn't played football for a long time, but the way the ball stuck to him and the way his footwork was and everything, he was just back to normal. And as you say, apart from his finishing, which was slightly off target, he could have had a hat-trick in his cameo yesterday. So that's really encouraging. Again, I go back to the fact that obviously Gassan's been out of the side for a while now, and the way we moved the ball yesterday. You look at Leaburn coming in, you look at Godden being, I think you said after the Birmingham game, our probably most natural goal scorer and the one who can just pinch a chance out of nowhere. And you look at that, and there's a tailor-made front two up there. So he was such a handful for them. They couldn't cope with him. And as I say, if his finishing was a little bit better, or if he was slightly match sharper, we'd have won that game yesterday. He looked knackered after about 5 minutes, bless him, because he hasn't played a lot of matches, and you could see him properly huffing and puffing. But I was delighted that he's back, and delighted that he sort of looked like, in terms of performance, he picked up from where he left off. So yeah, he's going to be a real handful for defences. And when Anike does come back, you then look at the strength in depth we've got up there now. And it's frightening. It's frightening. And I think we mentioned it right at the start of the show. Somebody had put in the chat, where are the goals going to come from? I have absolutely no doubt that the more this team starts to play, with the likes of Taylor coming in, and if he can maintain those performances, Leaburn, if he can maintain those, Godden starting to get in the goals now, I just think we'll be fine.
Right, we've still got loads of your comments to come to. I mean, Peter made a good point earlier. He said he thought the first half was poor. Lots of energy and some real creative attacking intent in the second half. Taylor was excellent, and Miles had a immediate impact off the bench. And John's saying if Miles and Godden play regularly together, I'm convinced the goals will come. The same as what Tom's saying there. Really, I really do think that Miles will not have games where he misses as many chances like yesterday. But I mean, he created them, didn't he? He was part of creating them. We've got to talk about Kaheim Dixon as well, but I think we'll do that once we've heard from Nathan Jones, because let's hear what the Addicts boss made of yesterday's game. Then he came to speak to me after the 1-1 draw with Stockport. Nathan, we've all said exactly the same thing when we've walked in here. How have Charlton not won that game?
Well, look, the positives are the level of performance, how we played, bar from one decision. I thought we were excellent, all afternoon, moved the ball really well, created enough chances, probably our most fluent we've been, created enough clear-cut chances. So, look, if I'm honest, we can blame one decision, but we had enough there to have won the game. I'm really pleased with the level of performance in and out of possession. These are a good side. They fancied themselves, and people fancy them to get promoted. They're a good side, and to be fair, I think we've been really dominant, and I think we've played well today, and that's the thing. I can talk about other factors which could get me in trouble, but what I do is just say, look, my team were excellent today. I'm proud of so much of the performance, and it was great to see Miles Leaburn back and a threat he was.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the possession and on the ball and playing through the first today, I thought that's probably the best we've seen from Charlton this season.
Yeah, well, look, we've always talked about evolving. Last year, it was very difficult to come into a side that hadn't won in 19 games, and then to be really fluent. So we had to get to a certain level. And then, look, we've been working on certain things, and I think it is as fluid as we have been. But I'm just really disappointed, because that's a real good home performance today in front of the crowd were excellent, and bar one decision first off, and then just probably a little bit of cutting edge, or just tiny bit more quality in the final third. That's the reason we haven't won it.
Yeah, he's talking about the decision in the first half. He's talking about the penalty decision.
It's as soft as you'd like, but we've got to deal with that better. I look at ourselves, and I always look at myself. It's too easy to blame people all the time, but for me, I look at ourselves and think we should have done that. We should have dealt with that better, and we could have, because there was nothing. We didn't win the first ball. It bounced a few times. There's little, not even a coming together. It's so minimal. It's mental. It's crazy. And then a pen's given, and there's exactly the same amount of contact in second half with Miles, and nothing's given. So neither of them are pens. Categorically, neither of them are the pens. And then the guy goes over in the box and handballs it, and he gets, literally gets him out the jail. I mean, it's a lot of decisions there just were decisions I'll look back on and question vehemently in the right manner. But look, my team was excellent today. It's just we just needed a bit of cutting edge, a bit more cutting edge, and everything, and a real equilibrium, and we win that game.
Yeah, the goal today, it came from a really well-worked set piece. Obviously, it's Reggie's first for the club, but there's obviously been work on that department over the last few weeks, because they've improved.
We've started employing James Brain, has stepped up, and we have a set play coach, a dedicated set play coach now, and we've been excellent. Set plays today, Terry Taylor was wonderful in terms of his delivery, and we looked a threat. we created plenty from set plays, from open play, from set plays. So look, we looked a much more fluent, dangerous team today, and that's credit to the players.
I was going to ask about Terry. He's had to bide his time to get his chance in the league, but I'm just interested in what you thought of his performance.
I thought he was excellent. I really did. I had a sense just leaving him on and taking others off. I thought he was really fluent. I thought he got on the ball. I thought he dictated play, and against two good midfield players and stuff. I thought he was excellent. And, he just ran out the legs in the end. Probably made one bad decision with the set play right at the end where he played it short and could have put it in. And apart from that, I thought he was impeccable.
And you mentioned Miles coming back as well. I think we've seen what we've been missing there as well.
Well, look. He's a wonderful player, young player. He's had a tough time. Just got to manage him well. Make sure that he works hard and that we're careful with him. But you can see what a threat he is. Real sour point when Kane came off. It looked quite nasty. What can you tell us of this? Well, we'll see. We'll scan it. But it's a slight knee injury. Hopefully nothing too serious. But I thought Reg was excellent when he went on. Fair play. So yeah. Tough one for him because he's been in such good form and whatever, but hopefully nothing too serious.
The way that Stockport went down to 10 at the end and Charlton were pushing, it felt like the perfect game to give Kaheim his chance to try and have a moment. He nearly did with that almost assist for Miles there.
Absolutely, and we felt it. We've made bold signings here, bold decisions right throughout my time here. We didn't take backward steps, and when they went down to 10 men, we wanted to do it immediately in terms of getting an extra attacker on, extra creative player. And that's what we did, and it was a shame that Miles put that past the post because it would have been the perfect ending to a wonderful afternoon. Yeah, just a couple of bits of injury news before the game today. Obviously, Lloyd Jones not involved and Chuks as well. What can you tell us about those two? Chuks just felt minor thing in his groin, so as it is always the case with Chuks, you can't take any chances. So he didn't, and then Lloyd was a bit baffling really because we completed the game, no problems whatsoever. I trained on the Tuesday and then just felt something. We scanned something and something showed up that we weren't scanning for. So it was a real strange one. But look, hopefully neither will be out for long, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's been the start of a busy week. Obviously, Barnsley coming up on Tuesday now. I mean, there's so much to take from this performance into that away game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look. And the last two performances have been excellent. They really have. 2 home performances, taking 4 points against 2 promotion teams. Birmingham scored 3 again today. So it showed what a level of performance we had here. But that's the only frustrating thing is that we probably lost a bit of ground today when we were the better team today.
And perfect chance to make up for that then on Tuesday. Barnsley, another side that again people expect will be up there.
Well, Barnsley and then Wrexham, so it's a real big week. But we enjoy these games. This is why you're in football. You don't, with the greatest respect, I don't want to play against dog and duck and win 25-0. I prefer to have the big games where you're testing yourself, you're testing your team, and that's what we're looking forward to.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high-quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders, such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello fellow addicts, I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the River. See you soon.
Right, welcome back to Charlton Live on your Sunday morning. Just before the break there, we heard from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones, after yesterday's 25-0 win over the Dog and Duck. That was another great line from the Addicts boss there, as you always get in different interviews. In the chat, Alex wants to say, can we address the downright cheating of the goalkeeper inexplicably going down injured immediately after the red card? which allowed them a timeout for Challoner to give instructions. So, I mean, it was so blatant. It was so blatant because, I mean, for starters, you see it every week now. Clubs have worked out, and we've done it ourselves, so we can't moan too much. I tweeted about it yesterday. I wasn't even moaning. I was just saying this is what's happening. He's faking an injury. The entire squad's gone over. And I had a couple of Stockport fans saying, I'll cry more and stuff. I was like, I'm not crying. I'm just saying this is what is currently happening on the pitch. And we did it away at Reading when Mannion went down, when we had started really badly. But, I mean, it's not... When it is cheating, it's giving yourself a timeout. Like I say, we've done it ourselves, so there must be a way for the EFL to try and work out how to stop that happening. Mike Salmon saying all this time wasting, and I thought the EFL was stopping things, but clearly it's not. Mark saying the goalkeeper was embarrassing to watch, the kind of housery. Stephen saying the housery was taken to the next level yesterday. I mean, is there a way to stop that, Nathan? So when the goalie goes down injured, he is exempt from the rule where you have to go off for 30 seconds. Maybe we should change that. I mean, it would be fun.
Oh yeah, you could literally for that you'll have rush goalie like you did in the playground. So I just think it would make a whole new level of banter. But I mean, stopping it. I mean, there's people saying that you can, if that happens, then you can stop players going over to the sideline. But they'll find a way around it. I think for me, like, even though I would do that straight away, another thing I would do is I think just add the time on, because there's no way there was only 7 minutes yesterday. For me, that should have been more like 10. With all the injuries and all of that, I would just literally say, no, we'll literally stop the watch. This is what they're supposed to do, but they don't. Literally stop the watch and actually play what it is. But yeah, I mean, we've done it, so I'm not going to moan about it too much. But it's only frustrating when you've obviously got the momentum, and we did. And we had the momentum at that time. If we were away from home and we were in that same situation, if that happens on Tuesday, we'll be doing exactly the same thing. So it's down, and in fairness to the ref, who for me was absolutely woeful, not because of the penalty. I just think for both sides, he was quite inconsistent and lost control. He can't really do nothing because there's no law at the moment say if a goalie goes for treatment, you can't go and get a drink and get your... He can't enforce anything. So it's not really his fault, but it's just really frustrating when you've got the wind in your sails. You're thinking we're going to get a winner here, and all of a sudden the goalie comes down, magic sponge comes over, and then he's walking like he's $1 million. Yeah, it's frustrating, but the only way it's going to happen is if it happens at the top. And I think it's been highlighted enough now that they'll probably look at it. But I mean, in the meantime, like I said, is if you're the ref and he takes 2 minutes, add it on, because if you think, the 30-second rule thing, I've noticed a lot more players don't get the treatment now. All of a sudden, they'll go down and go, oh, my knee's actually all right now. And now you're telling me that I've got to go off. And that's the only way you're going to do it. But ultimately, naturally, is everyone's going to find a way around something. So even if we stop them going to the touchline, someone will find some sort of way around it, whether it's the blooming people warming up or something and shout on. I don't know. But yeah, it's just frustrating. But yeah, we've done it. Yeah, even then, like you're right in saying, so the players that now go down, but then don't get the physio on, they still do that just to try and break up play. And they can do it for like 30 odd seconds on the pitch. And that halts momentum for sides. As Stuart was pointing out, he says it's nothing new. Carl Robinson Oxford side did that a few years ago against us at the Valley, and the game was only 10 minutes old. Yeah, maybe I've just noticed it more this season, but obviously time wasting overall is nothing. Do you remember like when we used to, in like the 2010 sort of range, there used to be two teams that used to come to us at the Valley in League One, and every time I'd be like, I'm really not looking forward to this. And I can't remember who the other one was, but one of them was Tranmere Rovers. They used to be the absolute worst at shirt pulling, time wasting, and we could never beat them. It was always a 1-1 draw. I was so glad when they went down to non-league because, yeah, it just used to frustrate me. There's a couple of good suggestions here. John saying like the rugby style treatment on the pitch that someone said recently. Robbie saying if the goalie goes down, then maybe the skipper has to leave the field for 30 seconds. I think Paul's had the best suggestion here. Whatever part of their body they claim is injured, they have to play without for 30 seconds after the restart. If it's their head, they have to tuck it under their shirt. So yeah, we finally got an answer there. Brilliant, fantastic. As I said to Nathan Jones yesterday, when I saw Kaheim Dixon getting ready to come on for the last 7 minutes, like for the added time yesterday, I thought, you know what? That's exactly the time to bring him on. It's 10 men, he might not be ready, but he has got something explosive about him. And it's either going to go one of two ways. And when he went down injured after 5 seconds and was rolling around on the floor, I thought, oh no.
but it turns out for some reason he was time wasting or something. But when he had that run, oh my God, Tom! I mean, that's exactly what you want from a little wild card. And he might not be ready fitness wise, but even I could probably play for 7 minutes. I wouldn't have done that, obviously, but he's clearly got some sort of skill about him. And I was worried because I thought he'd run into a bit of a dead end, but I mean, that back heel was so perfectly executed. To do that on your debut in English football, and then it's such a shame that Miles didn't finish it off, because that was a bit of excitement there, wasn't it?
I'd have much rather seen you bombing down that right-hand side. That would have been much better. See you get subbed on with 7 minutes. And I'd love to see if you could last 7 minutes, because I don't think I could, to be honest.
I don't think I could, actually. I took him into the park last week, and we had to run to the swings, and I'd done my hamstring trying to push myself around on the roundabout. So, yeah, I don't think I could.
Definitely not this morning. I couldn't. But he's another one, a bit like Terry Taylor with all the hype. There's been so much hype around Dixon. I was like, what if he comes on and there was so much hype. I was like, people are making out like he's not even a footballer. Like, because people keep saying he's not ready. I was like, but he is still a footballer, though. It's not like one of us coming on. Like, he can play football. I've seen his highlights reel. I know it's at a different level, but he can kick a ball. But then when he came on and he got the ball, it looked like he was totally not in control of his legs. And I was like, oh no, like he was running, and I was like, your legs are like independent from you. What's happening here? But then he puts that back heel in, and the back heel was absolute perfection. And Miles should have scored probably, but. As you say, he's probably not quite ready, but as you just said there, that's exactly the sort of time to throw him on. And fair play to Nathan Jones, because 1-1, it's the sort of game where you're dominating and you think, okay, we've got to push for this winner here, but also we don't want to get picked off. Against 10 men, it's going to look awful if we get picked off and we lose this game 2-1. But fair play to him, because he kept the strikers on, he brought him on, and yeah, he's a little live wire. So. There's work for him to do, right? There's work for him to do. He needs to get up to speed. He needs to get up to fitness. But in terms of what he can offer us, that pace, that excitement, we've said it plenty of times. We've only really got Tyrese in the side that can do that at the moment. So if we've now got a second one and a bit more threat, a second guy who's got some pace, who's got some trickery in him, then it's really exciting. And I don't think we'll see a lot of him this season, but he's a long-term project, right? So, yeah, I'd love to see a couple more cameos from him, because it was enjoyable. I was just never quite sure what he was going to do. So, exciting player to have.
It could have been. It was so much fun, and it was, like I say, just a wild card substitution. And as Nathan Jones said, he played it, and fair play to him. A couple of tweets. I mean, Matt saying we had to take the golden chances we had in the game yesterday. Miles had a couple of simple passes for 2 tapping goals. Yeah, that was one thing we haven't mentioned. That bit where he sat the defender down, then. Was it Berry? Maybe he was just completely unmarked in the middle and then just didn't quite do it, unfortunately. But Matt says promotion teams will find the way to win games like that. It's 2 points dropped for sure. Paul said he really enjoyed yesterday's game. The changes in the second half really worked. On another one or two of those chances go the right side of the post, we would have won that game. And Justin pointing out how nice it is to be going from how on earth did we win that game to how did we not win that game. Like that, I think that shows we're heading in the right direction. Don't forget, at the start of the season, we were winning games and going, how? But actually, like we found a different way to play yesterday, which was so encouraging. I really thought that something looked good yesterday. That I just hope we can continue. Paul says before Kaheim came on, he looked like he come straight from scouts. He's a young. I think he has just turned 20 now. I was looking it up last night. But yeah, and it's great. He showed that performance in front of the Mount Pleasant lads. So Mount Pleasant wasn't the club that Kaheim came from. Came from a different one, but yeah, those lads were there yesterday and just showed what could be achieved if he can make the jump to Charlton. Right, let's hear from someone who did get on the score sheet yesterday. Rarmani Edmonds-Green. First time I got the chance to speak to him. This is what he made of yesterday's game. Reg, it's a 1-1 draw with Stockport today. I mean, I just asked Nathan, how did Charlton not win that game?
I know we created so many chances. Obviously, conceding a goal so early. It's very avoidable, but we had the chances to win the game, so yeah, I don't know myself.
I mean, when you come out of a performance like that, can you take some pride from the way you played, or is it more the frustration that you couldn't quite get over the line today?
I think it's a bit of both. Like, you can take the pride of creating the chances, and we just got to take them, and some of the decision making, you could square to your mate, and then he can get a tap in. So yeah, I just think take the chances within the game.
Well, someone led by example today with their chance. Obviously, you got your first Charlton goal, right place, right time, and it was a great sort of corner move. But you made sure you followed up in case there was a rebound off the keeper.
Yeah. To be fair, I was there and luckily put it in. Thankfully, we've been working on our set plays through the week, and Bernie's been helping us a lot. So one came off today, and just grateful to get the goal, first Charlton goal. So yeah.
In front of the covered end as well. I imagine that's always the best end to score at.
Yeah, it was. Wish we were winning the game so I could celebrate properly. But yeah.
I mean, clearly the momentum was in Charlton's favour in that second period as well. Did it feel like it was just going to be a matter of timing until you could get that second goal?
Yeah, I think it was just like wave after wave of attacks, and like they couldn't live with us some parts of the game. So like when the chance was coming, I was just thinking, yeah, sooner or later it's going to go in again. Unfortunately, it didn't, but we are creating the chances. That's the main thing. Yeah,
so you had to bide your time to get into the side today, and coming off the bench, it must be quite difficult to sort of come into a game when perhaps in the first half you don't really expect it unless there's going to be an injury like that.
Yeah, unfortunately what happened to Kane, hopefully he has a speedy recovery and it's not too bad. But yeah, I've been waiting for my chance in this formation we're playing now. Like I'm playing 3 different positions, so I've just been waiting for the chance, and today I got the chance and hopefully I took it.
I was going to say that there has to be an element of being ruthless when you are a sub and waiting for your opportunity. So did you feel like you really had to perform when you got out there today?
Yeah, I think I always have to perform when I go out there, but like today when I went out there, just made sure that I done what was asked of me and got a goal as well, so just buzzing really.
Yeah, I mean overall, how have you sort of assessed Charlton's start to the season?
I think we're doing well. Just we can score a lot more goals, and like if we start scoring more goals, no team could live with us. So yeah, just got to finish our chances and we'll fly up the league.
Yeah, and the goal that Charlton did concede today, so it was before you were on. But I mean, have you had a view on the penalty? Have you seen a replay yet?
No, I didn't have a good view from the bench, so I don't know really what happened. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it was a pen or not, but yeah.
How good is it for the side to see Miles Leaburn fit and raring to go off the bench and then putting in the performance like he did today?
Yeah, I'm buzzing for him. Everyone's happy to have him back, and you can see today what type of play is unbelievable. So yeah, just happy that he's back and doing his stuff, and hopefully he can continue and he can start scoring some goals.
Also, we got to see Kaheim Dixon for the first time today in a Charlton shirt. I mean, it's quite a fascinating move for him coming out of the Jamaican sort of football system into Charlton. How has he sort of settled into the group so far?
He's settling really well. Very funny character. Gets along with everyone. Obviously, congratulations to him for making his debut, and I know all the boys were buzzing for him. So and he can show what he can do today. So yeah, just happy for him and hopefully he can continue. Yeah,
I mean, obviously we only got to see a glimpse of it today, but he nearly had an assist. But tell us what he's been like in training, because everyone seems really excited about him, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a bit more of him.
Yeah, very skillful player. Very skillful. When he gets a chance, he can finish as well. So yeah, like in training, you want him to be on your team, sort of thing. So yeah, because he's a really good player.
Yeah, and a quick turnaround now. Obviously, we've got a big week. Barnsley coming up before Wrexham next week as well. So I guess coming back off the international break, nice to have these games thick and fast to try and continue picking up points.
Yeah, just go take the performance from today and go into Barnsley and hopefully go up there and collect 3 points.
There you go, that's Reg speaking to me after the game yesterday. I asked him before if he wanted me to address him as Reg or Rarmani, and he says Reg because when he gets called Rarmani, it sounds like he's in trouble. But yeah, nice to speak to him. Congratulations for his goal yesterday. I asked him about Kaheim just because it'd be interesting, and I think you could hear it in his answer, but there was a certain warmth to the way he referred to him, and as soon as I asked him about him, he had a smile on his face. So it's good to see that the squad are clearly getting around Raheem, because it must be so hard to move as a 19-year-old to a completely different world. You see it all the time in football, but no matter what level you're at, it's very different. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, what did you make of him yesterday, Nath? Obviously, has had to bide his time. I think there's no way he would have got in the side ahead of Kane Ramsey. I think overall on the right side of the defence, he can play centre half as well. But he's not. I think that's his first league start. He's only played one other. No, he made one start and then obviously came off the bench yesterday. But he's only played 2 games now this season in the league. So he's had to bide his time. But what did you make of him overall?
Yeah, I mean, he started that game against Blackpool, didn't we? When we tried something different as a right of a free. But I think, yeah, him and Kane Ramsey are two different players, different qualities. Obviously, Kane's brilliant in terms of finding space and driving with a ball, which Rarmani can do, but not to the technical ability that Kane can. So, considering how Kane was influential in that first half for me, he was a good outlet. Coming in halfway through a first half wouldn't have been an easy transition for him as well, as you said in the interview. You're still warming up, but how often do you make first half changes? Not very often. So, and to be fair to him, he came on and he got forward, delivered some balls in the box. Some of them were good, some of them are not so good. But listen, I think considering he was thrust into that situation, I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Considering, glad he got a goal. Celebration did crack me up because it was just like, let's go again sort of thing, which was a good thing as well. Considering that's his first goal, didn't milk it, just wanted to get back and try and get a winner for the team. So yeah, I was really happy for him because, yeah, as you say, he's not really had a consistent sort of run in the side, rightly or wrongly. But it looks as though he might be vying with obviously Tanai Watson now in terms of the foreseeable. I would imagine it's not going to be a week out for Kane. So hopefully it isn't. But yeah, no, really happy for him yesterday. Really, really happy for him and to come in and put a performance on like that. And sounds like a nice, funny guy. Usually on the videos after the game, big win and all that. Seems like a good character in the dressing room. Yeah, certainly. Peter said he thought Reg had a decent game. Good to see the squad has some depth. Sam thought he did well when he came on. Pleased he got the goal. Feel this could be a big season. And Mike Salmon saying similar, says he thought he'd bring something different to the right back area. It's another one who I think, I don't think we saw much of him last season that made me think, starter. And he's not started games. I think that's probably why we've got someone ahead of him in the pecking order now. But yeah, it'd just be interesting to see how he tries to grab the chance as we go on. Right, a couple of emails. Chris said he thought it was a really good performance. He would say the best this season, but he thought the ref and the lino were crap. But we played well, defended well, tried to create without lumping the ball forward. And Miles, according to McSquared, he says we are miles better with Leaburn on the pitch. Hello, Imogen. How are you? She's finally come to join me at the end of the show. But I mean, before we finish up, we've got Barnsley then coming on away on Tuesday. Tom, they're above us in the table. I think they've had a reasonably good start to the season, but they've actually only won one of their last 5 in all comps. That was yesterday, an away win at Blackpool. What are you expecting from them, and what do we need to see from us as well?
Yeah, I think they scored right at the end, didn't they, to win that game? Well, as I said right at the start of the show, as I said against Birmingham, and I'm sure Imi will agree, we've just got to maintain that standard. Now, that's the thing. You look at the Bristol Rovers game, for example, we just can't have a performance like that. If we go away to Barnsley, we put in a performance like yesterday, you'd expect us to get something from the game. But even if we don't, so long as we maintain that standard, that's the important thing. We're obviously going to be tired. It's a tough away trip. We obviously got injuries, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but yeah, just go there, put the same level of performance in, and see what happens. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of squad rotation with Wrexham in mind coming back at next Saturday as well. And obviously a bumper crowd and everything that comes with playing Wrexham. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch. But as I say, if we go there and we put a performance in like we did yesterday, then we've got every chance of getting something from it. I don't think anyone listened to me. I think everyone's just been watching him.
Yeah, right. Let's get out of it. We have run out of time, actually. I cannot believe it's taken an hour for her to come and do this, but she's been really, really well behaved today. Mummy's not been very well, which means she's got to watch TV and have ice cream for breakfast. So it's been a good start to the day for Imogen. Right, massive thanks to everyone who's joined us live on the show this morning. I've really enjoyed looking back at yesterday's game because it's quite an interesting one to try and sort of analyse, because we didn't win, but I thought we played really well yesterday, and I really hope that we can take that forward into Tuesday's game up at Barnsley. Big thanks, Nathan, Tom. I've enjoyed your company this morning. Thanks for your help.
Cheers, both.
Cheers, mate. Good luck with the rest of the babysitting for the rest of the day, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Quick happy birthday to Tash from our show. It's her birthday today. Hope you've had hope you're gonna have a good day. All the best to Joe as well. He's not feeling very well at the moment, so I'm sure he'll be listening from wherever he is currently. Like I say, massive thanks to everyone who's joined us in the live chat this morning. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod and all that sort of jazz. We'll be back on Thursday then to look back at the game against Barnsley and ahead to the biggest game in Charlton's history, of course, which is at home against Wrexham. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Still. I'm Louis Meadows. Thanks for listening. See you again on Thursday.